Coming up on today's video, we'll be discussing some reserve list cards you should be keeping your eye on. Hi everyone and welcome back. MTG Moxman here. I hope you're all having an awesome day in the nacho cheese universe of YouTube. And if you're new to my channel, make sure you smash that subscribe button. Join in the fun if you enjoyed today's content. It is free to do, doesn't cost you a cent. And of course, helps the channel get closer to 10,000 subscribers, our next big goal, and we're going to have a good time getting there. So on today's video, we are talking about reserve list cards, of course. We are going to hit up some cards that have some future value, some cards that are continuing to climb that people should be aware of in case it's a card they're after. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at these cards. They're in no particular order. I just like putting them out there saying we'll start with card number 1. Our first card today is Scrubland from Revised. Now, when it comes to reserve list cards, the mana cycle, I gotta say, is the most important part to me. In my humble opinion, the mana base of any reserve list card is far more important. So cards like Yavimaya Hollow, Gaia's Cradle, Tolarian Academy, all the dual lands, Alexandria's Library, like these are just crazy cards. Mishra's Workshop, you just can't give these guys up. They are the best of the best. They're the first cards I look to buy whenever there's a dip, whenever there's a cycle I have a chance to grab my hands onto. And I can't help it. So Scrubland from Revised here, $325 Canadian, heavily played. That's not a bad price considering what they're going for overall, with the average being $380 US. We're looking at $369.22 is the market, and €246.70 to get that card. Commander Vintage Legacy, don't forget old school, of course, 93, 94, stuff like that. And the sales are steady, but I've noticed a slight increase week over week. In the last couple of weeks, these cards are starting to pick up steam. I gotta let people know, because if you can find one that's heavily played, if you just want one to have for your collection, it's something you got to get in on now before they disappear. You will find them locally for a lot more money here in Canada, especially in Toronto. I did find some copies, but they were like 500 bucks. I wouldn't be paying that right now when you can get a heavily played copy for a cheaper price. That's more of where I'd be looking at. Now our next card is Bayou, another card that's continued to rise over the time frame of the last 24 months. This thing went from like 200 bucks to 475. It just shows the value of the dual lands, revised list cards, as well as reserve list card. When we look at Revised, I mean, this was like a huge print run. Massive. But they just keep getting gobbled up. The near mint ones get slabbed. So there's always less and less on the market for people to play with. And these are just cards you have to get your hands on when they become available. It's had a bit of a dip right now. Not massive, but a little bit. Even a 10% drop is enough to catch some people's eyes. Now, when you see this card at $475 Canadian, moderately played, I understand it still seems like a big whack load of money, but it is a dual land. Even if it's like a moderately played one, it's dual lands, okay? The average is $524.99. The market has it at 626 cents US and €359.23 to get that card. Of course, Commander, Vintage Legacy, old school, you know, vintage, that kind of stuff. When we're looking at this, we see the sales are steady, but just like Scrubland, I've just noticed an uptick in the sales as the price dipped a little bit over the holidays. You might be able to find some of these cheaper on some Boxing Day deals. It's just a card you have to keep your eye on. The value is there. Watch what's going on with this market, because these dual lands, once they're gone, they're just not coming around. I just can't emphasize that enough. Now, our next card up is going to be Forcefield. I'm focusing on limited because it was cheaper. And if you want a really cheap copy, you can get collector edition ones for around $180 Canadian locally here in Toronto. You can look at $600 Canadian for a light played unlimited copy. Now, this never was printed in Revised, right? So it got cut off at that point. So you're only going to find this in Alpha, Beta, Unlimited, Collector Edition, and International Editions. The average price is $600 US. The market is $590.81 US and €250 even to get you that card. Commander, Vintage, Legacy. I've really stoked up on this card. When the Collector Edition ones were 50 bucks, I told people to buy these. I said $50. Now, even at the cheap price of $180 Canadian for a collector edition now, that's still 3 times the value. I'm going to have an investment video showing some of these things, guys, but when you look at this, you realize the value of the cards coming up. These cards aren't really dropping in value. They're kind of stalagmiting up and down, but they never go back to their previous lows. It's something to always focus on. There are certain cards, those top tier reserve list cards that people want that never go down, and people are just realizing how epic these are to have in your commander decks for any deck you build. Let's go ahead and take a look at the next card, which is Meditate. Now this one caught my eye only because the sheer volume of sales. Expect to see this card in the hot top 10 reserve list cards this weekend. It can't not be there just because the sheer volume of sales. This Tempest card comes in at $12 Canadian near mint. The average is $10.62 US. The market's $9.77 US. €9.50 to get you that card. Commander Vintage Legacy. Now, skipping a turn to draw 4 cards. Seems like a lot, but it's a 3 casting cost spell when played early enough in the game. I'm talking turn 1, turn 2, depending on what your opponent's playing. 4 cards can be so game-changing, you've got to take that hit and just say, I'm going to do it. Especially if you do it on your opponent's turn, and then you just skip the turn entirely. You don't have to discard anything. You have a massive pile of cards in your hand. This is an amazing card that is very underrated. It should be so much higher than what it is, but it's not there yet. It's a great opportunity to spend, you know, $50 and get yourself a play set at least, so you have enough to keep for yourself for later on. If you're an investor looking to grab some of these cards, great time to corner the market, but do it all at once if you're going to do it, because it will be noticed by a lot of people and this card will shoot up in value. Meditate, can't say enough. Decent card from Tempest. Cheap casting cost, instant speed spell. Sometimes skipping a turn just doesn't hurt when you get 4 cards out of it. All right, our next card is going to be Kjeldoran Outpost from Alliances. Another card that has had a massive dip recently. I've left it alone for a while. I do love the card, as you people know on this channel, but I have let this card drop to see what happens when I ignore it and nobody makes any puns or big information about it. Look what happens. It's drifted down from its high of around $40. It's half that price right now. $20 Canadian lightly played. The average is $19.49 US. The market has it at $18.43. And of course, €12.92 to get you that card. TCG Player had them for $13.60 US, which is a pretty decent price if you're looking to get a moderately played copy. Formats are Commander, Legacy, and Vintage. I look at this card, even though its sales are high, it's being picked up on the slope. Again, this is a card that could be in the top 10 this week. I gotta get a couple more days of data to see if this card's gonna make it that far, but people are picking it up as it drops in price. And a lot of people are doing it under the radar. They're doing it quietly, but of course I've picked that up. I'm letting people on the channel know here who watch my station that, hey, this card is going there. If you need a play set of 4, $100 for some near mint copies is not going to hurt the bank too much. And let's face it, making little 1/1 tokens when you got to have an army out to protect yourself at this cheap price can't go wrong. Let's go ahead and take a look at our next card today, which is Yavimaya Hollow, another card that has dipped down from its all-time highs of closing in on $200. This card can be found for $90 locally, moderately played. You can see the average is $99.75. The market comes in at $89.85 US. A foil is going to run you $1,000. Just be prepared. Foils back then were so epically hard to come by that you're going to pay top dollar. Okay, especially in Urza's Destiny, which is the first series ever to have foils. You got to pay attention to these things. They are rare of rare. If you're a collector investor, these are the rare of rare, okay? All right, now €75.09 to get you that card. Commander Vintage Legacy, you got me there. Sales are high as it dips down. People are grabbing the near mint copies for a few bucks more and just making sure they have them. Being able to regenerate creatures when Wizards hate creatures that regenerate just makes this card so much fun to have and to throw in those green commander decks that you're just like, you've got something that makes all your stuff regenerate. An amazing card to have. I can see why people are buying this card. I do recommend getting a copy. At $100, it's a steal. All right, our next card up today is going to be Yawgmoth's Will, another card on the decline, even though sales are high. This card is declining in price. You can find it locally here in Toronto for around $280 Canadian for a moderately played copy, but a lot of these stores have 10% off right now, so you'll get it for around, $260 to get this card. And you can see there the average is $267.75 US. The market has it at $273.54 US and €141.15 to get you that card. The formats are Commander, Legacy, and Vintage. I can't say enough. Dropping down in price. High sales volume as people are buying it slowly, but buying it daily as it drops in price. It's not spiking in value yet, but when it drops this low, I remember it being $15, I gotta be honest, but when you see it dropping this low from where it was before at almost $500, you can see these things are getting poised to get taken out of the market. A bigger fish is gonna come gobbling these up anytime. Be prepared. Katabatic Winds from Visions is up next with $4 Canadian for a near mint copy locally. The average is $3.47 US. The market is $2.64 US. €1.96 to get you that card into your house. And of course, the formats are Commander, Legacy, and Vintage. This card had a high of around the $8, $9 mark. It's really shifted down now to some pretty cheap levels, which is why the card is now starting to sell at a higher rate of volume. People are definitely going after the near mint copies for collectors, but also for Commander decks that like to stop flyers and stop things from attacking them. A lot of fun, not to mention the funky ability of phasing. So people have to kind of target it at the right time if they want to get rid of it. Great card to have around when played in conjunction with another one. So you can go one in, one out. We used to do in the old school decks. It was a lot of fun. Let's go ahead and take a look at our next card today. And that is going to be, that's right, Mystic Decree from Homelands. I've talked about this card before. This is one of those Homelands cards I actually like. I used to go in conjunction with Moat. I like things that stop flyers. Stop Island Walk was always a good thing because there's Island Sanctuary, another card I put up there because these are combos I used to use. Now, Mystic Decree is $4 Canadian near mint. Used to be about as high as $12 Canadian. The average is $3.22. The market has it at $2.65 US. It's €2.98 to get you that card. But as this card has fallen in price, again, the upswing of sales is getting there. But it's people going after near mint copies. Remember, Homelands and Fallen Empires, finding near mint quality cards in any good condition is next to impossible. That's why when you find a near mint one, those are the ones people tend to grab, either for collections or for their decks. They go for the best of the best because the cards are so cheap and affordable still as a reserve list card. Now, I put Island Sanctuary, Howling Mine, and Peacekeeper up there because these are cards I used to combo with Mystic Decree just to stop everyone from attacking. It was a lot of fun back in the day as we used to play this game called Wing, which was like a center guy with two things. I think they called it King of the Castle or something. But we used to have a lot of fun with that deck. It was my centerpiece with my good deck. Now, our last card today is Peacekeeper from Weatherlight. This card has dipped down from its highs as well of being about 85 bucks Canadian. It's now $50 Canadian near mint. The average is $40 US. The market is $28.69 US and €27.94 to get you that card. I remember buying these at 40 bucks and I was very happy to grab them. The formats are Commander, Vintage, and Legacy. I only have 2 right now. I do have to get 2 more myself, so at least have my play set. But as this card has spiked, you see it's been really low. It went higher, went low, went higher. See the little stepping stool? It's starting to climb a little bit now, but it's a good time to grab the card if you're looking for it, just because with all the Boxing Day deals on, you might be able to get a good deal on this, and the volume of sales are high. I don't think it's going to make the top 10, of course, but it's just higher than expected for this time of year. So way to go, Peacekeeper from Weatherlight. You are definitely stealing away a few dollars from people because they see the value in having you. Let's recap. When it comes to Magic the Gathering's reserve list, there are some real opportunities recently with these downturning prices for players to get in there and grab the cards. I've noticed a lot of sales that are a little unusual compared to the normal time of year, as well as the normal month-by-month sales, which means some people recognize this and they are grabbing these cards while they can. Although dual lands may not seem very affordable, remember 24 months ago those cards were $200. So look where they've come in 24 months and look where they'll go in the future. It's an expensive world out there for Magic for those type of cards. But the opportunity for lower end reserve list cards still really appears to be there for a lot of players as some of these bigger cards have dipped in price. So I hope everyone enjoyed the video today. I'm looking forward to seeing what people's comments are. And let's have some fun out there. It's just a game. I'll see you guys tomorrow. And remember, this is an entertainment channel. I am not a financial advisor. I didn't graduate Magic University. I don't know what to tell you. One day maybe. I don't know. Maybe. One day. And of course, a big shout out goes out to each and every one of the fantastic patrons on the channel who continue to make sure things happen here. Thank you so much for your continued support. Patrons make the world go round. You guys are awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing everyone in the new year. Have an awesome day. You made it to the end of the video, and I gotta say, so many cards, so little money. There are so many cards I would like to grab and add to my collection, but sometimes you gotta be a little bit choosy and pick and choose. You know, if you're an investor side of things, you might want the lower end reserve list cards that could spike up more in the long run. You might be a person who just wants to have that card for your commander and work on those dual lands. Oh, so many cards, so little time, guys. What can I say? I hope everyone's having an awesome day today. I look forward to seeing you guys later this week. We are going to have a blast. And before you know it, the live stream will be back on. Can't wait to see you guys there live. Have a great one today. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow. It's only a day away.